What happens when the undisputed WWE champion walks into a backstage powder keg that's about to explode? What you're about to witness changed everything we thought we knew about War Games, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Cody Rhodes just declared war on one of the most dangerous superstars in WWE. But first, let me tell you what Nick Aldis was desperately trying to hide from the cameras. The tension backstage at SmackDown wasn't just building, it was reaching a nuclear breaking point that nobody saw coming. Picture this: Nick Aldis, the general manager who prides himself on control, frantically calling for security like his entire show was about to implode. But here's what the cameras almost missed. Paul Heyman wasn't just causing trouble, he was holding up that War Games contract like it was the key to complete domination. You see, that piece of paper wasn't just a contract, it was a weapon, and Paul knew exactly how to use it. The official War Games contract gives him unprecedented power, the ability to pick any talent from any brand. Think about that for a second. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, nobody was safe. But Nick Aldis, he wasn't backing down. In fact, what he said next will shock you. "I already know the rules," Nick fired back, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. But those words carried more weight than anyone realized. This wasn't just about one night. This was about who really controls WWE programming. And when Nick made it crystal clear that neither Paul Heyman nor Bronson Reed would hijack his show, he was drawing a line in the sand that would change everything. But wait, because what happened next turned this backstage confrontation into the most explosive moment of the night. Suddenly, the entire atmosphere shifted. You know that feeling when a storm is approaching and the air gets heavy? That's exactly what happened when Cody Rhodes made his entrance. The backstage area, which was already electric with tension, suddenly felt like it was about to burst into flames. Paul Heyman's entire demeanor changed in an instant. This is the same Paul Heyman who has stared down legends, who has orchestrated some of the most ruthless storylines in WWE history. But when Cody walked into that room, Paul's tone softened. He was clearly impressed, and for good reason. The undisputed WWE champion doesn't just enter a room, he commands it. But here's where it gets interesting. Cody wasn't there for pleasantries. He wasn't there to shake hands or play politics. He was all business, and his first words cut straight to the heart of the matter. "What do you want?" No small talk, no corporate speak. Just raw, unfiltered confrontation. Paul tried to suggest that Cody was meddling in things that weren't his concern. Wrong move, dead wrong. Because what Cody said next sent shockwaves through everyone present and set up what could be the most personal feud heading into War Games. "If you're putting my friends in danger, I'm stepping into the fire myself." Those words from Cody Rhodes weren't just a statement, they were a declaration of war. But here's what makes this moment absolutely crucial. Cody wasn't just talking about any friends, he was talking about his SmackDown family, the roster he's fought to protect as champion. And then came the moment that will be replayed for years to come. Cody held up the undisputed WWE Championship, not as a prop, not as a symbol, but as a weapon of authority. "This is SmackDown," he declared, his voice carrying the weight of every battle he's fought to reach the top. "The business of the day is right here, and if you're not ready to fight, you should leave." Think about the psychology behind those words. Cody was doing something that very few champions have the courage to do. He was putting his title, his legacy, everything on the line to protect what he believes in. This wasn't about ego. This wasn't about headlines. This was about a champion who understands that with great power comes the responsibility to stand up when others can't. But Bronson Reed was listening to every word, and his response would escalate this situation beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Bronson Reed volunteered to fight. Just like that. No hesitation, no fear, no backing down. This is a man who has been systematically destroying everyone in his path, and now he was staring at the biggest prize in professional wrestling with hunger in his eyes. Cody's response? Pure championship mentality. He didn't flinch, didn't hesitate, didn't show even a flicker of doubt. Instead, he requested a match for that very night. Right there, in that heated backstage moment, the undisputed WWE champion was ready to put everything on the line against one of the most dangerous competitors in the company. But Paul Heyman, ever the master manipulator, saw an opportunity to raise the stakes even higher. What about making it a title match? The words hung in the air like a loaded gun. Everyone in that room understood the implications. This wasn't just about settling a disagreement. This was about potentially reshaping the entire landscape of WWE. Here's where Cody showed the kind of leadership that separates champions from pretenders. Instead of making the call himself, he left the decision to Nick Aldis. Think about that strategy for a moment. By deferring to the general manager, Cody was showing respect for the chain of command, while simultaneously demonstrating that he was ready for war, regardless of the stakes. Nick Aldis, being the seasoned authority figure he is, immediately recognized what was happening. He warned Cody that Paul might be manipulating the situation. It was a reasonable concern. After all, Paul Heyman's manipulation tactics are legendary. He's orchestrated more shocking moments and unexpected outcomes than perhaps anyone else in WWE history. But here's what made Cody's response so powerful. He was completely undeterred. This is a man who has faced every type of opponent, every kind of psychological warfare, every possible manipulation tactic on his journey to the top. The warning didn't change his mind because Cody Rhodes has reached a point where he trusts his instincts above everything else. That moment revealed something crucial about Cody's character as champion. He's not reckless. He heard the warning, processed it, and made a calculated decision that the risk was worth taking. This is the mindset of a fighting champion who refuses to let intimidation tactics or political games dictate his actions. And that decision was about to turn SmackDown into a battlefield that nobody was prepared for. What happened next sent a clear message to every superstar on every brand. SmackDown is about to explode with action, and Cody Rhodes is leading the charge. But this isn't just about one match or one confrontation. This is about setting up what could be the most chaotic and unpredictable WarGames event we've ever witnessed. Think about the ripple effects of this backstage encounter. We now have the undisputed WWE champion directly in Paul Heyman's crosshairs. We have Bronson Reed, a man capable of devastating destruction with a potential path to the biggest prize in sports entertainment. And we have Nick Aldis trying to maintain order, while WarGames approaches like a hurricane on the horizon. The collision course with WarGames isn't just about the event itself. It's about the alliances that will be formed, the betrayals that will shock us, and the moments that will define careers. Cody Rhodes has essentially guaranteed that SmackDown will be ground zero for chaos, and every fan should be prepared for the unexpected. But there's something even more significant happening here that most people are missing. What if I told you that Cody Rhodes orchestrated this entire confrontation? What if this wasn't just a spontaneous backstage encounter, but a calculated move by a champion who understands that sometimes you have to create chaos to maintain control? Consider Cody's position. He's the undisputed WWE champion, which means he has a target on his back from every direction. Raw superstars want his title, SmackDown competitors are gunning for him, and now WarGames is creating opportunities for cross-brand chaos. In this environment, a reactive champion loses. A proactive champion shapes the narrative. By stepping into that backstage confrontation, by demanding immediate action, by showing zero fear in the face of Bronson Reed's intimidation, Cody was sending a message to the entire WWE universe. You want the championship? Come and take it, but know that I'm not running from anyone. This strategy also puts Cody in control of his own storyline heading into WarGames. Instead of waiting to see what Paul Heyman might orchestrate, instead of wondering when Bronson Reed might strike, Cody has forced the action to happen on his terms, in his time frame, on his show. Now, let's talk about what this means for WarGames specifically, because this backstage confrontation just changed everything about how we should view the upcoming event. WarGames has always been about controlled chaos, about teams facing impossible odds in the most unforgiving match structure WWE has to offer. But with Cody Rhodes now directly involved in this power struggle with Paul Heyman, and with Bronson Reed positioned as a legitimate threat to the championship, WarGames becomes something entirely different. It becomes personal. And when WarGames becomes personal, careers are made and legends are broken. Here's what every WWE fan needs to understand. Paul Heyman holding up that WarGames contract wasn't just about flexing his authority. It was about creating opportunities for chaos that extend far beyond one night. That contract gives him the power to draft superstars from any brand, which means he could be building an army specifically designed to target Cody Rhodes. Imagine a war game scenario where Cody finds himself outnumbered, surrounded by hand-picked opponents that Paul has strategically selected from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. The undisputed WWE champion would be facing not just a match, but a systematic assault designed to end his reign in the most devastating way possible. But here's the question that should keep every WWE fan awake at night. What happens when Cody Rhodes, a man who has proven he'll step into any fire to protect what he believes in, realizes that WarGames might be the trap Paul Heyman has been setting all along? We've seen Cody overcome incredible odds before. We've watched him navigate political manipulation, survive brutal matches, and emerge victorious when everyone counted him out. But WarGames against hand-picked opponents, with his championship on the line, in the most unforgiving match structure in WWE, that's not just a challenge, that's a potential career-ending scenario. And yet, knowing Cody Rhodes the way we do, knowing his refusal to back down from any fight, knowing his commitment to being a fighting champion who faces all comers, would he change his approach even if he knew it was a trap? The answer is probably no, and that's what makes this storyline absolutely compelling. The backstage confrontation we witnessed wasn't just about one night on SmackDown. It was about setting up a WarGames event that could completely reshape the power structure of WWE. It was about a champion drawing a line in the sand and daring everyone to cross it. SmackDown fans, the explosion of action that Cody Rhodes has guaranteed is just the beginning. WarGames is approaching like a freight train, and when it arrives, the WWE landscape will never be the same. The question isn't whether chaos is coming, it's whether anyone will survive it. For all the latest WWE chaos, explosive backstage drama, and championship implications that will define the future of sports entertainment, this is exactly the kind of coverage you need to stay ahead of every shocking development. The war has been declared. The sides have been chosen. WarGames will determine who emerges victorious and who gets left in the wreckage of their own ambitions.